A very warm welcome, everybody, to our team's press conference ahead of the FIA Formula One British Grand Prix. From left to right, we have Zach Brown, Fred Vasseur, and Steve Nielsen. Very warm welcome to you all. Zach, why don't we start with you? Your team's the centre of attention this week with regard to some driver rumours. What can you tell us about the chats you've been having with Max Verstappen and his team?
They're rumours.
No conversations?
I usually don't talk about my dinners, but last night I had dinner with Nigel Mansell, which was really cool. He's won this race a bunch. I'm very happy with my two racing drivers, Lando and Oscar. And, I think anytime a name like Max is thrown around, everyone gets pretty excited. Four-time world champion, but very happy with our driver lineup.
So if a move were to happen one day, it's not going to be anytime soon?
Correct.
Okay. What about performance then? There was a bit of a dip last weekend in Austria. Do you understand why?
Yeah. Wasn't really much of a dip. It was we've not been at the front, and Austria was no different. Oscar had a very good race. Lando's race wasn't as good, but we understand why. We don't have much development on the car this weekend. We've got stuff coming, but you got to say Ferrari's doing an outstanding job. Red Bull took a nice step forward, and of course, Mercedes has been competitive from the word go. So we have some work to do. We'll catch up. I think we'll be winning races this year. So quite optimistic for the future.
So in terms of the rest of the season, are you getting 2024 vibes? Do you think it could follow a similar pattern?
I hadn't really kind of thought about comparing it to any particular season, but we're a third of the way through, so we've seen over the last couple of years how much a championship can swing. So I think the constructors, I think the drivers is open. We've got a lot of work ahead of us, but it looks like the top four teams will, I think, will all win races this year. The field will tighten up. And, we just need to get some more development on the car. We need to get the current Mercedes engine. We're the only one without the new engine, which that'll be coming for us shortly. So I think when you put those all together, if we can find some tents here and there, then hopefully we'll be able to take it to Fred and company.
How much of a frustration is it that you're not running the latest spec Merc here at Silverstone?
Yeah, of course, we'd like to have it. Anytime you have performance that is coming, but you don't have it on your car yet, you want to get it as quickly as possible. But I wouldn't say it's a frustration. It's just it is what it is, and we just keep our head down and keep pushing hard, and it'll be in the back in not too long.
Zach, final one from me. You talk about winning races. Can you put a timeline on that? When you look at your car, is there a particular racetrack where you're going to be hopeful?
I don't think it's necessarily track specific as much as all the hard work that the men and women at McLaren are doing, getting that just bolted on the race car. So I think in the next couple races we should see a step forward. You don't know what the other competition is going to do. Fred upgrades his car every week, and they've done a great job. So I think it shows what you can do. And I'd like to think in and around the summer break we should be at the front of the field, but I don't think it's a track-specific thing.
Zach, thank you very much for that. Fred, let's come to you now. After the high of Barcelona, Lewis called Austria a reality check. What's your take on Ferrari's performance last weekend?
It was not a good race at all for us. I think the performance in quali was decent, that we had a good quali, even if Kimi would have been in front of us. But the race didn't work at all, and we work on it to try to avoid to do the same this weekend. But as Zach said, the field is tight. We are at the first stage of the development of the cars. That it's true for everybody. We have to understand the tires. And I think everybody is a bit more up and down than we were last year after 5 years with the same car and the same tires. That we are still doing some mistakes on setup, on tire management. And it was much less the case last year. It means that I think for me, it's the reason that you have a evolution of results like this from one week to the other.
What did you learn in Austria that can help you be more competitive here at Silverstone?
This I will keep it for me.
Okay. Now, look, can we talk about drivers? Lewis is clearly enjoying these 2026 cars, while Charles has found it harder to find his comfort zone. Where's he been struggling, and what solutions are you putting in place to help?
Yeah, but I think your conclusion was the opposite after China, Japan. That it's not because you have 2 races at the top of your teammate or 2 races, the next 2 races behind him, that it's changing completely the picture. That Charles is struggling the last 2 or 3 races, probably a bit more with the setup, but he was on the first row in last week in Austria.
How have you helped? Has he need any help on a personal level?
I think they all need to have support and from the team, and the team need the support of the drivers. We are working as a team in every single circumstances, even when you are in the front, that you support the driver and the driver is pushing the team.
Okay, look, final one. Let's talk upgrades. Zach referenced it a moment ago. You've been pushing hard with developments on the car. Tell us how hard it is to balance the introduction of upgrades with, of course, the budget cap.
You are referring to the comments of Toto. I found it quite ironic from Toto, coming from Toto and Mercedes. But when Red Bull is developing or when Mercedes is developing, they are genius. When we are developing, we are cheating. Is that I think you have to calm down with this. That we didn't bring more parts than Red Bull or another one, and it was. I don't know if it was a joke, but.
Fred, do you think Toto was accusing you of cheating?
If you think that we overshoot the cost cap, for me it's going into this direction.
Okay. Fred, thank you very much. Steve, let's come to you now. You've been riding the crest of a wave for much of this season, scoring points at every race until we got to Austria. Do you understand why the competitiveness dropped off last weekend?
Honestly, we weren't fast enough. It's simple. We did well at the first, I think, 7 races. We got lucky a few times, but we were always, there or thereabouts in the mix of scoring points. And in Austria, that just didn't come. We didn't qualify well enough. Our starts weren't good enough, and our high fuel pace was not good enough, which was disappointing because we had quite a big development on the car. We need to understand why it didn't give us what we thought, and we're flat out doing that at the moment.
So I was going to say, what conclusions have you reached ahead of this weekend?
Don't race on tracks where it's 60-degree track temp. Honestly, we've got a few things to try. We did some of what happened in Austria was self-inflicted, to be honest, and we put that right for here. We tried 2 different setups in FP1 just now to give us a direction to try and confirm some of the stuff we think went wrong in Austria, and we've got a path to go down.
Okay, and when we look at the Constructors' Championship this year, you have the top 4 teams, and then there's yourselves and Racing Bulls in particular fighting tooth and nail just behind. How do you view that battle with Racing Bulls? I mean, you're ahead at the moment. Do you think there's enough of a buffer for the remainder of the season?
No, I mean, we're not even halfway through, are we? There's, 10, 11, 12 races left. No, it's nothing like. I mean, there's no way we can relax. It only takes a small sort of chaotic race. We've had some of those already, and if Racing Bulls are ahead of us, they can collect big. I think the gap in points is something like 13, so that could change in a weekend. So no, we're a long way from relaxing, and we're in a development war with them, with Racing Bulls. And I keep hearing stories that some of the other teams, Aston Martin, Williams, are also bringing big upgrades. So we'll see. There's an awful long way to go, and we're not taking anything for granted.
Okay, and on the topic of drivers, quickly, Pierre is locked in for next season. Franco is not. Is he doing enough?
Well, everybody wants more. I think Franco is a driver that has been a slow starter, dare I say it. He's getting better. He's produced some good runs this year already. Miami was good, China was good. He's improving. So I think he's there on merit, and when the time comes, we'll make the decisions. If he's good enough, he'll stay, and if he's not, then there's a better option. That's just Formula One.
In what areas has he improved the most?
I think his consistency, particularly in races, is a lot better than it was, and his ability to hang on to Pierre. He did a little bit of that last year, but our car last year was so bad it was difficult to separate wheat from the chaff. But I think this year there's been a few times where he's been a match for Pierre, and it's good to see.
Okay. Thank you very much for that. Let's now open this to the floor. We will start with the broadcasters. Who's first, please?
Craig Slater, Sky Sports. Question for Zach. You're saying you haven't got the upgraded Mercedes engine. Can you explain why that's the case? Were there conversations with Mercedes? Why are you not able to take it?
You got to cycle through your engines, and we've got life left on our current engines, so we need to wait till we do an engine change. Where Williams got theirs because Carlos had his issues, so he needed an engine change. I don't recall exactly your scenario, but I think you've got two of them, so it's just a timing sequence thing.
Could you have requested it? You'd obviously need it here. I mean,
You'd want it as quickly as you can, but you need to run, the cycles through the engines. Obviously, you can move things in and out, but we'll have it soon, but hopefully next race.
Okay, thank you, sir. Next one. Yeah, Mara.
Mara San Giorgio, Sky Sport F1 Italy. A question to Fred. Fred, considering the Lewis best time and the good pace you showed this morning, did you play a bit with words yesterday that were totally on the fence?
Let's see after the quali when everybody will run with the same level of fuel and will push on the engine.
But can we say that it was a
No,
surprise?
but we
at
had
the
a
time of this
deficit
morning?
last week on the engine side, and we have the same engine this week, and I'm not expecting that by Maggi that we will be in front.
Okay, thanks. Next one.
Take over at Sky UK. But having said that, Fred, 20 years ago, you won both GP2. I know, long time ago. I'm sure you remember it like yesterday. You won both GP2 races with Lewis round here. What would it mean to you to see him win at Silverstone for Ferrari?
For Ferrari and for Fred, it's different. It's true that 20 years ago it was a good weekend. I think it's the weekend where McLaren decided to put Lewis into the car the year after, after the podium. And it's true that it was a quite emotional one. But for Ferrari and for everybody, I think to be back in Silverstone, I would say that it's with the number of fans that we have this weekend, it's something magic. That honestly, it's unbelievable, the level of enthusiasm around the race, and so that even yesterday it was almost fully packed, and it's something special.
Thank you. Any more from the broadcasters? In which case, we'll open it. Yes, go on, sorry.
Jan Olejniczak, 11 Sports. A question to Zach. What is McLaren's main weakness at the moment? We've seen the upgrades you've introduced a few times this year, but they don't seem to be working as well as you expected. For example, last time in Austria, you bring the new rear wing and you didn't even test it on track. Is everything all right with your development process?
Yeah, it's just we've not had the success with development this year that we've had the last couple years. But as I said earlier, we've got some good stuff coming, but so does the rest of the field, I'm sure. We just lack some overall grip, some downforce. Car was a bit tricky for the guys to drive today. Oscar had it step out on him a few times, as did Lando. So we just need to make the car more drivable, and then we also need to continue to learn how to optimize the power unit. That's still a big learning curve for us and for the sport of how to best optimize what you have, since these power units are unique in their power delivery.
Thank you, Zach. Yep. Mara, back to you.
A question to Zach. Could we have two Italian drivers on the grid next year? I'm asking you because Leonardo Fornaroli is one of your drivers. Are there some real possibilities?
Yeah, I think there are. He's a great talent. He's been doing some testing with us, and so hopefully he'll secure an F1 seat. I think he's definitely worthy of being an F1.
Okay, let's bring in the written media as well, please. Name and publication.
Leonid Kluev, Grande Premio. Question for all three. Carlos proposed yesterday that any driver who calls to yellow or red flag in quali should receive a grid drop penalty, recalling, of course, incidents that happened in the past in Monaco, for instance, and in Baku. What are your thoughts on that?
Steve, yeah.
I think it's very difficult to do that. I understand why he's asking for that, but there are a myriad of different reasons why a yellow can be caused. Sometimes it's not even that driver's fault. And I think if you just go black and white and say if you cause a red flag or yellow flag, you're excluded, I think you'll quickly run into... It's not as black and white as that.
Fred, please.
Well, I'm not a big fan. That imagine that sometime in Q3 you do only one lap. If they cancel your lap, that at the end of the day you start from the back. It means that it's a bit harsh. And the game in quali is to push at the limit. Sometimes you are over the limit, but I don't think that we have to penalize the guys who are pushing.
Zach, please.
Probably a little bit different. Conceptually, I get his comments, and conceptually kind of agree that if a driver causes a yellow, hurts other people's qualifying, that they potentially don't get a penalty, whether that's a grid drop or you lose your fastest lap. But in IndyCar, they do, if you cause a yellow, you lose, I think it's your fastest lap, or you lose 5 minutes of qualifying. There's some sort of penalty. But to Steve's point, it's never quite as black and white. So I think it's probably difficult to come up with the right regulation to accomplish that. But I get where Carlos is coming from and agree conceptually that it doesn't feel right that someone can mess up rest of the field and keep what maybe benefited them.
Okay, thanks all. Next one, please.
Luke Smith from The Athletic. Fred, a question for you to your right over here. Hello. Sorry. Just on the Toto comments, have you had a chance to talk to Toto at all? Are you at all disappointed? I know you guys are quite good friends away from the track, or is this a case where friendship doesn't really come into it?
I think it was better to avoid to speak.
All right, next, please.
Graham Harris, Motorsport Monday. There's starting to be talk in the paddock again about a 12th team, various people putting deals together. As team principals of the three most established teams around, how would you view a 12th team? Is there room for it? Do you want it? Or should they be looking to buy an existing team?
I haven't thought about it, so I guess if I want to give it 2 seconds of thought, you've got operational issues with some of the circuits, whether they could have the capacity. Ultimately, it's up to the FIA and in Formula One. I think, like before, you just want to make sure the economic balance is right, but I don't really kind of have a strong view one way or another, nor do I have a vote. So you just lean on the FIA and Formula One to ultimately make that the decision. If they think it's good for the sport, then let's have a 12th team. If they think it's not, we'll stay with what we got.
Nothing to add.
Yeah, I agree with Zach, honestly. I think it slightly depends who it is, but Zach's comments are all right.
All right, next one.
John Noble from The Race. To Fred. Fred. Oh. John from The Race. Fred, a lot of teams have been aggressive with upgrades this season so far. Why do you think Toto's singled you out? And do you think you've got the efficiency to be able to keep up this rate for the whole season?
Jonathan, if you have to ask something to Toto, go to Toto, ask him why he spoke about me. Don't ask me the question. That honestly, I have no clue, and I found it a bit puerile.
What about keeping up efficiency to keep us up for the whole season?
Because that I think more performance you can bring at the beginning, that we are all in the same boat, that if we can bring something at the beginning, we do it, and that it's better to have a couple of tenths for 5 races than just a couple of tenths for the last 2. And but sometimes it's difficult to find performance, sometimes a bit less, sometimes that you can have the feeling that we are bringing a big upgrade, but it is just the modification of some parts, that nothing else.
Next one, please.
Phil Duncan, PA. A question for Fred. Hi. Lewis is obviously having a strong season. Have talks started over a contract extension with him, and he'll be 42 next year. Just wondering how much longer do you think he can continue to drive for Ferrari?
Who spoke about the extension? Okay. I will discuss with him for the extension, not with everybody. And he is still under contract with us, and it's not time to discuss about an extension.
Next, please.
Hi, LA Wilshire from Top Speed. Hi, Fred. Just wondering, with Lewis 46 points ahead of Charles and faster today in practice, potentially there may only be 10 races left of this season after this weekend. Are you going to consider favouring one side of the garage soon? And if so, will you give team orders?
Lewis is going to get all the upgrades.
And the engine of Zach. No.
No. Okay.
All right, next.
Adam Cooper, F1, for all three of you. There's obviously still some uncertainty over the calendar for the rest of this year. At one extreme, we could get Bahrain back in September. The other, we could lose the 2 races at the end of the year and maybe have an extra one in Europe. What sort of challenges does that uncertainty present to you in terms of managing the cost cap and logistics and so on? And do you have commercial contracts that are linked to having a minimum of 21, 22 races, things like that?
Yeah, I think ultimately Stefano and the FIA are going to work through the calendar, so we'll race where they tell us we're racing, and we'll be happy to do that. I think we all have the same challenge as far as kind of managing through that, and then our partners are all understanding the calendar's quite big, so it doesn't really present any commercial issues from that point of view.
Honestly, I think we are all on the same boat between teams, FIA, FOM. We all want to go to races, that we all want to race again and more, but it is like it is, that we are huge trust on the FIA and FOM on the calendar. They are working hard to find solutions, and I'm really convinced that they are doing the best.
Yeah, nothing to add really. I'm sure they've got a myriad of versions of the calendar, and they'll go for whichever one world events allow them to do.
Thanks all. Next.
Christian Mehnert, motorsportmagazin.com. Another one for you, Fred, as you're enjoying update talk so much. Do you think the problem is the submission list that we get on Friday, that this one can be a bit misleading because some teams declare a diffuser and floorboards and whatever as single updates, and some just put them at one as a floor update?
Well, if you have an ID for the next regulation, it's welcome. That the FIA is asking us to declare what we are changing as a shape on parts, but not the details. And we are doing it for you, to give you something to write or to say. That it's now, if you don't want to get it, that it's another story. We can stop. But honestly, sometimes it's starting to take proportion a bit. Let's say. No, I won't say the word.
Thank you. Next.
Thomas Marplanet, F1.com for Zach, please. Zach, I know you've ruled out Max as a potential for a seat. You're saying there's no seat available for him. But if Max is shopping around, what do you believe McLaren could offer him that he's not getting at Red Bull? What would tempt him about McLaren?
I haven't really thought about that because I've got 2 drivers in the seat. So what I couldn't offer him was a seat in my race car. But I think McLaren's an awesome team. So is Red Bull, and so is Alpine, and so is Ferrari. So I mean, all the Formula One teams are amazing. I think we've got a unique environment, but as all race teams. But we've got a great race team that's had a lot of success, and I think it's a good place to work, whether you're a racing driver, or a team principal, or a mechanic, or whatever you may be at Team McLaren.
Next one.
Good for GP Blog. Question for Zach. Another one on the upgrades, I'm sorry. You already made a cheeky comment about Fred's car, but looking at Red Bull's upgrade strategy and also Mercedes and also yourself and Ferraris, how are you comparing them also going into this summer break?
Ferrari and Red Bull have been very close. So, you look at the list, and as Fred said, it doesn't necessarily always give you a clear story, but I think Ferrari and Red Bull have done a fantastic job with their upgrades. We've done a fantastic job with our upgrades. We're a little bit behind. I think it's very early in the season to draw conclusions because you don't know when everyone's going to deploy their upgrades. So hopefully we'll have as many as Ferrari has, and you don't know when their next one's coming. So I think the whole story is a bit early in the year because, as Fred said, you deploy them when they're ready. They got them ready earlier than ours. We have just as many upgrades coming. We just haven't put them on the race car yet because they're not quite at the level that we'd like it to be before we produce the parts. Clearly, Ferrari and Red Bull have done a fantastic job.
Thank you. Next.
Nigel Chu, Sky Sports. Question to Zach. Sorry, Zach. And it's another question about Max. Just how serious were the talks last week? How far did they get? Where did it kind of go?
They didn't go anywhere. I've got my 2 drivers, so there's nothing to report.
Thank you. Any more? Yep.
Simon Arbley from Nevis Radio. Question for Fred. Obviously, there's been a lot of talk about upgrades on the Ferrari. As the car's performing quite well so far this season, and you've got Aguo 2 coming up before Monza, is the big push to have Ferrari at the front for the home Grand Prix for yourselves?
You are more informed than me on the timing of the upgrade on the engine, and it's good. It's always good to come to the press conference to get information. But for sure, it will be a push when we will introduce the next engine. But it's too early to know when we will do it first, because as Zach said, that you have to bring upgrades when you are improving the performance, and on the engine side, the lead time is much longer than on the chassis side. But I have nothing else to say.
Thank you. Next.
Please stop the question on
We're changing that for you.
Lewis Larkham, Crash.net. Fred, sorry to keep going on about your favourite subject on upgrades. But just going back to that, does it give you any satisfaction that your rivals are talking about Ferrari and perhaps being a bit annoyed about what you're doing? Does that show the good job that your team is doing?
Yes, sure, but keep in mind the comments after Austria, okay? After Barcelona, we were at the top. After Austria, we were nowhere. After the FP1, where you don't know the level of fuel of the other teams, the upgrades are magic. That you just have to stay calm with this. I think we are at the beginning of the car. We have still a lot of room of performance in the setup, in the tire management, and sometimes much bigger than the upgrades that we are bringing. It means that sometimes you can bring an upgrade, the upgrade is working, but you are doing a mistake on the setup and you are out of the pace. We just have to stay calm. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Fred. Yes, another one.
Luke Smith from The Athletic. Zach, just to clarify on the Mercedes engine situation, did you request to have it in the car here, the updated version?
I don't believe we did, but that would actually be an Andrea question. But I don't think so. Did we, Luca? We didn't.
Yes, please. We've got time for another one. Yep.
Jake Nicol, Racing News 365. Question for you, Zach. How much of an asset do you think the upcoming Le Mans hypercar project is, and is that something attractive to F1 drivers potentially?
I think the impact it has is for our fans. It's quite exciting to be racing in the Triple Crown. It's exciting for our sponsor partners. Gives them opportunity to dial in and out of Formula One, or you want a little bit more America, you can join our IndyCar team, sports cars, get closer to our automotive business. So I think it's really more a benefit for the fans and the partners than it is the Formula One team per se. That being said, we have partners in IndyCar that have come across and sponsored us in Formula One, so Formula One will see the benefit in that sense. But technically, they're two totally separate racing teams and disciplines, so there's no benefit there.
Thank you, Zach. Thank you to all three of you. We will leave it there. Best of luck for the rest of the weekend. Thank you very much.
Yeah, the FIA team principal press Silverstone has just finished, and honestly the atmosphere around the Formula 1 right now feels absolutely insane because today had everything: Ferrari pressure, Mercedes confidence, Verstappen rumors, McLaren tension, and Lewis Hamilton setting provisional pole during sprint qualifying. And honestly the timing of the lap could not have been bigger for Ferrari. After all criticism Ferrari received at Austria, after all the questions about the race pace, tire degradation and upgrades, Hamilton suddenly puts the Ferrari on provisional pole at his home race. Of course the crowd went crazy, and honestly the entire paddock reaction changed instantly because all week people have been asking, are Ferrari panicking? Did Austria expose deeper problems? Can Hamilton actually challenge Mercedes consistently? And a lot of questions. That's exactly why the team principal press conference felt so intense afterward. Fred Vasseur immediately got flooded with the questions about the Ferrari upgrades and whether today pace proves Austria was only a setup issue. And honestly, Vasseur looked much more relaxed today compared to Austria weekend. He admitted Ferrari has both aggressive development updates to Silverstone and confirmed the team reacted quickly after Austria's problems. According to the rumors around the paddock, Ferrari changes includes a revised floor balance, improved cooling layout, and the rear end setup modifications, specifically targeting tire overheating. And honestly, it looked like a workout today, so much perfect for the Ferrari. And also Vasseur also stayed cautious because he admitted Ferrari still needs to prove they can maintain tire life during long runs. That's the key, he said. One lap pace isn't Ferrari's problem anymore. Race consistency is, and after Austria, nobody inside Ferrari wants another Sunday collapse. Then things got really interesting when Vasseur was asked about the Hamilton's influence inside the Ferrari. It's becoming obvious now that Hamilton is shaping this project more and more every race weekend. Vasseur praised Hamilton heavily today and basically admitted Lewis is deeply involved in the technical direction of the car. You can feel Ferrari slowly becoming Hamilton's Ferrari. That's the atmosphere right now. And of course we had Zach Brown on the press conference, and he sounded much less comfortable today. Austria hurt McLaren badly mentally. The tire degradation issues were bigger than expected. Mercedes suddenly looks dominant over race distance, and now Ferrari suddenly looks fast again at Silverstone. That's dangerous for the McLaren. Brown admitted today that Formula 1 under 2026 regulations has become unpredictable because teams are still discovering huge setup swings from track to track, and honestly he is right. One weekend Ferrari looks lost, the next weekend Hamilton is suddenly on the provisional pole. That's literally Formula 1 right now. Then came the Verstappen question, and the media are not letting this story die. Zach Brown was asked directly about the growing rumors linking Verstappen with the McLaren and Mercedes long term after recent reports exploded online. Brown lauded but didn't fully deny anything either. That was the people noticed it immediately because inside the paddock the Verstappen rumors are becoming louder every single weekend now, especially because Red Bull still doesn't look fully comfortable with the 2026 regulations. Another interesting moment today involved Mercedes. Even thought that Toto Wolff wasn't in this press conference, Mercedes became one of the biggest talking points anyway, because after Austria the entire paddock suddenly sees Mercedes as the benchmark team again. Some team boss sounded slightly worried about it today. Silverstone on paper should suit Mercedes perfectly. High-speed corners, stable long runs, efficient energy deployment, and despite Hamilton's pole position, most teams still believe Mercedes has the strongest race pace this weekend. That's important. Then there was Alpine. Steven Nielsen admitted Alpine is already thinking long-term with the future development plans. Any hint that more upgrades are coming later this season, but honestly the midfield conversation today was over shadowed completely by Ferrari and Hamilton, because once Hamilton went past this in sprint qualifying, the entire Silverstone atmosphere changed. Suddenly Ferrari once believe again, suddenly Mercedes has pressure. The British media are going crazy. Formula 1 needed this. Hamilton fighting near the front. Silverstone in a Ferrari just feels huge for the sport. Overall, today honestly felt like one of the biggest momentum swings of the season so far. Ferrari suddenly has hope again. Mercedes still looks dangerous. McLaren feels pressure, and Verstappen rumors keep growing louder. But the biggest story today, Lewis Hamilton reminding everybody at Silverstone that he is still Lewis Hamilton. And honestly, guys, if Ferrari can finally survive the race pace tomorrow, this weekend could become absolutely legendary. And this was the key notes that I had about the press conferences. Just don't forget to like this video, of course, to comment your notes, your thoughts about the press conference, and of course to subscribe to the channel.